Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya, and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tips, tools, and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. Welcome back, everyone. Today, I have an exciting guest. I have Swami Nityananda with me. Swami is a spiritual teacher and leader of the Awake Yoga Meditation community. She was consecrated as a Swami in 2014 and has dedicated her life to helping others live their lives in joy and freedom. She has spoken to audiences in 10 countries and has been featured on NPR and Radio Ireland, among other platforms and podcasts. Her teachings help people connect with the reality of love, wisdom, joy, harmony, and kindness. She models a path for us all to recognize our own inherent divine qualities and to see the same in everyone. Such a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Tanya, it's such a joy to talk with you. It gives me great gratitude and respect to meet you.
So you and we're going to dive into living in spiritual freedom, being the divine within. And when I titled the show, I made it very clear I wanted to use the word being because that's what we are, right? We are being the divine within. But I first want to talk about what is a Swami and how does one get consecrated as a Swami?
Sure, absolutely. So I wonder if I should back up before that and just say that my dad and mom gave me the name Juniper. And I actually grew up not very far from where you are currently located geographically. So I grew up in like the northern, northwest, northeast corner of Washington State.
Oh,
so
nice.
kind of like north of Spokane.
I know exactly where that is.
Yeah, exactly. So you know the landscape there, and you know like it's mountains and lakes and evergreens, and also like you were just talking about a very hard winter. And so
very hard winter. Finally, as you can see, my background, for those of you who are watching the YouTube, I've got a sunset on there or sunrise, one or the other. But I was just telling Swami how excited I am. It's actually getting into springtime weather and we're seeing the sun. So I am so elated about that. I've been missing the sunshine.
it's fantastic. And when you're in that landscape, you've probably noticed this as well. The landscape has incredible energy. And so I grew up there and just was very aware of the energy of the landscape and of a relationship with that energy. And so my body had a relationship with the energy of the land, and the land is connected to all of us. And so that was like my natural awareness. And my parents certainly fostered that awareness as well. And then when I met, my teacher was Swami Shankarananda, and I met him in 2010. He founded a meditation community in Baltimore. So that's where I'm currently located geographically, is Baltimore. And the name of our meditation community is Awake Yoga Meditation. And Swami Shankarananda, I would invite you to visit awakeyogameditation.org and just look at his photo. And you can't help but just like grin, because so you're looking at that picture of the sun behind your shoulder. He's like that in human form. And so when you look,
when you find people like that just light up, it's amazing. And it feels so good to be in their energy.
Isn't it so beautiful? It's just such a gift. And I mean, you have that as well. Like you're sitting there beaming with that energy. So
it's the sun. I can feel it beating on me through the window and you can see it. Oh, it just, I light up around the sun.
It's so beautiful, isn't it? And so, yeah, so I met my teacher in 2010. Swami Shankarananda was his name. And he actually recognized me as his successor. And so he trained me. And before he left the body, as yogis say, before he passed away in 2014, he consecrated me as a Swami. And so what that means is he asked me to carry on teaching the teachings of non-dual awareness, the teachings of oneness, like the interconnectedness of all of life, like we were just talking, and specifically the teachings of yoga philosophy. So Advaita Vedanta is one of the names that goes by, and then a meditation technique called Kriya Yoga. And he asked me to initiate students into that. And I guess I could also say a little bit about the name. So my teacher's name, Swami Shankarananda, the name Swami means one who knows and is master of oneself. And then Shankarananda could be translated as the bliss of one who gives bliss. And so he was just so full of love for the divine and for light, and then just radiated this bliss to everyone who encountered him. So it just makes me smile. And then, so my name, Nityananda, which he gave me, that he would have translated as either like the bliss of one who loves the eternal, or he might also have translated it as joy of the infinite.
That is amazing. I love that. I love that. Oh, so you were I was just complimenting how beautiful that color is on you, that salmon color that you're wearing. And you said this is a Swami thing. Can you talk a little bit more about the color orange and how that is correlated with Swamis?
Absolutely. So yeah, if you go to awakeyogameditation.org and you look at my teacher's picture, you'll see Swami Shankarananda. He's wearing this beautiful orange robe, and it's very luminous. It's a beautiful luminous orange. And it's symbolic of a couple things. So when you become a Swami, what you're doing is letting go of finiteness. And so you're letting go of attachment, you're letting go of reactivity, you're letting go of being confined or bound by personality. And so it actually is symbolic, as if you have walked through the fire that melts away limitation. And you're there. So it's a little bit like what you were talking about with the sun. Like, you're there sharing light joyfully and radiantly, as freely and fully as you possibly can, in every way, the same way that the sun shares light, just by being itself. And you were talking about being. And so the invitation for everyone is to come into contact with that light within ourselves, and to let go of our own reactivity, to move beyond finite within ourselves, and then to be that kind of like unlimited kindness and just that gladness and that generosity and that joy, which we all are when we are our true selves.
Absolutely. And I guess when I think of the color orange, I think of the sacral chakra in the center of creation. If you could see my room right now, it's orange. I have orange curtains. I have orange pictures. I have, everything around me in this room where I do my podcast, where I create things. It's all orange. And so I really gravitate towards that beautiful color. I love it. It's something that makes me feel good, especially, at this time of year, I start craving mandarins, clementines, oranges, and I can feel it. It's like the sun. To me, when I think of an orange, I think of the sun. And so correlating that with the light, I think that's just amazing that, that's kind of what I'm visualizing in my mind.
Oh, and I love what you said about surrounding yourself with that color, and the way I'm just curious, because so one of the things that the color would help connect with is that energy of creativity, and also the energy of serenity, and also the energy of self-nurturing and self-care. And then when we're in that energy, then we have so much to share with others. And so I'm curious to know what you've noticed being surrounded by your orange room.
Yeah, I've had this orange room for many years now, and I love it. My bedroom is more purple, so that's the place where I sleep. I've actually kind of planned out my rooms off of what type of energy I want to bring in to that room, or what I'm doing in that particular room. And so, yeah, I feel the moment I step out of my purple, calm bedroom, I feel like, ooh, I shift into my space where I create. And it's just, I feel this sense of inspiration. I feel more vibrant, more energy, more alive, and happy. I love that. I love yellow too. I think those vibrant colors of orange and yellow just bring a lot to me. And I've done some shows about color and light and the power of that. And I never really correlated that with swamis. Now, I've correlated monks with orange. Is there a difference between a swami and a monk?
I mean, so basically, it is a renunciate in the yogic tradition. So, I mean, it's very fair to say it's like a cousin to a monk. Yeah, yeah.
I guess because I think of, when I think of a Swami, I don't even know if he was a Swami, but in the movie Eat, Pray, Love, where Julia Roberts goes on her journey and she meets this man, and he is just this vibrant, bright man, and he's smiling, and he tells her to smile with her liver. And I love that, because he's telling her to, not just smile with your mouth, but smile with your organs, smile with every part of your being. And I have watched that movie several times throughout my life when I had been going going through something. And that particular scene where he tells her, and he's missing some teeth and he's grinning and he just looks like this childlike person, but he has this beautiful energy, and he tells her, smile with your liver. And she looks at him like, how do I do that? But by the end of the movie, she understands what he meant by, you want to smile from the inside out.
That's so beautiful. I have not seen that movie. And so as you were talking, I was also thinking about the liver in the Taoist tradition would be associated with, like, if you can smile from your liver in the Taoist teachings, that would help you transform anger. And it would also help you transform stress. So both of those things would be welcome. Letting go of anger and stress and turning it into a smile from the inside out, as you said.
Absolutely. And the liver's in that solar plexus area too, which is bringing in that light, bringing in that yellow color as well. And so it's so funny how everything is so connected. And so I want to dive into that because, Swami, in our expanded awareness, in our true divine self, we are one with everything, right? We are one with all life. And so, however, some of us lose that connection, or we actually even lose that understanding that we are connected to everything, everyone, every being, every little plant, every little ant, we're connected to it. And so how do we connect and stay connected with our innate divinity in a more conscious way?
That's such a beautiful question. And so one of the basic foundations of the teachings of oneness, the way that we share them at Awake Yoga Meditation, is to encourage each listener, to encourage each meditator to start to notice what are the ways in which I naturally feel connected to that expanded awareness. And so I mentioned, for me, nature is a really wonderful connection. You were talking about light and color are wonderful connections for you. And you were also talking, like, you didn't name this, but you showed it, like that you're very aware of the energy of the seasons, and you're very aware of the energy of food. And so those are also natural expressions of our own awareness. And so as we allow ourselves, it's partly giving ourselves permission and partly giving ourselves ability to trust. There is an innate wisdom, an innate knowingness, an innate beingness within every single human. And so to identify for each person, like for one person, it might be when they're rock climbing, or when they're running, or when they're baking, or when they're building something, or when they're playing with their pets or their kids, or saying hi to their elders, whatever it is that makes you have that just natural feeling of being connected with that which is pure and noble and true and larger than yourself. And then gradually you stay connected to that from moment to moment continually, and you just establish yourself in that connection. And so meditation is a practice that really, really helps with the unfolding of that, and then helping that awareness be very, very steady.
Yeah, and tuning into that. And I know for me, we talked about where I live, and this area is just beautiful. And I go out regularly to connect with nature, and I tune into the land, and I find myself receiving information, receiving knowledge. I don't know if you're aware, but just north of Spokane in Chewelah, there is a pyramid there. And I've driven past it many times, and I've been called to this pyramid. I have been called to go to this particular area. Now, it is on someone's property, so I can't physically go on it. However, I have some friends who know this person, and, he allows us on that property. But I have noticed that there'll be times I'm driving, say, through a reservation, through a national park, even just in my area, I'm running errands. I am hearing the call of nature tune into me, tune into my frequency, or I'm tuning into their frequency, or both, right? And I will receive inspiration. I'll receive what some may call downloads. And I can sense or tell that, okay, I am in perfect vibrational alignment with this area, or with this tree, or with, this lake, or whatever it may be. And so you talked about how you connect with nature. And I think many of us do. That's our natural divine right to connect with nature. And we are all one. And so, you talked about meditation, and I'll do that. I'll go find a beautiful space. There's a park here that I love to go to, Farragut, just north of me. And I'll just go sit there by myself. And, at this time of year, not a lot of people are there. So I can really connect. And there's so many things that we can connect with when we're living in that present moment. Now, many of us may go to a park and not experience that because maybe we're disconnected. We're on our phone. We're, worrying about other things. But I make it an intention to go and sit there and to just listen, tune into the birds, tune into the sound of the leaves, the trees and the wind, tune into the sound of the water. And, are these things that we can do to make our lives more rich, more joyful, and have more freedom?
Oh my gosh. I mean, your description was just so beautiful and so mesmerizing. And as you were talking, you were helping listeners connect with that. And it's everywhere that we are. So you were mentioning you happen to live in an amazingly beautiful place.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So wherever we are, though, it's possible just to walk outside and the earth beneath your feet, whatever that earth is, you have a sacred connection to it. And it is sacred. The ground whereon you stand is holy wherever you are standing. And so, I mean, this could be like you're sitting in your dining room or you're in your kitchen or you're in your car or you're on the bus or the train or wherever you are. It's sacred wherever you are. And so just to have that awareness and that connectedness. And then I think as well, you were demonstrating this when you were talking, but there's a deep sense of peace that comes with that. And then when we're in contact with that peace, that's when we're in contact with that almost like overflowing inspiration and laughter and wholeness and healing, and then we will also be naturally connecting with other humans in ways that otherwise wouldn't be possible. So because it's sort of like we're all like what you were talking about, the image that came to me as you were talking was almost like the earth is a network of light. The ground itself, there's like a network of light, and we are networks of light as well. We're all interconnected. And so you were just talking about being open and aware and connected and allowing that network of light to inspire you, to guide you, to support you, to help you, to give you joy, to just give you so much light. And that pure life energy, it's with us wherever we are. So I do want to emphasize, like, I'm currently sitting in a city, and I take a walk every day in my neighborhood in the city, and I connect here with the trees that are here. And so please, wherever you are, even if you're not like on a mountaintop, so it's perfect for you to connect.
Those trees in the city probably need more than the ones on a mountaintop.
They will absolutely respond to your greetings. And yeah, they definitely respond as you are sort of noticing and connecting with their energy. They will be radiating energy back to you as well.
Yeah, and the boulders and the rocks too, and the moss. Moss is such a beautiful frequency. 2 weeks ago, I traveled over to the Hoh National Rainforest on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington. And for those of you who've never been there, it's literally, imagine the most green, plushy, mossy rainforest you can imagine. It's these gorgeous trees just covered in this green moss. And I couldn't wait to get out of the car. I kept telling my friend, pull over. I need to touch the moss. I need to put my hands on that. And so what we would do is we would get out, we'd stop, and then we'd listen to the beautiful glacial water that was just rippling through there in this like crystal clear blue water. For those of you who've never been to Crescent Lake, it's just make the trip. It is just beautiful. And so one thing that I did learn too, I have a friend who's a Lakota Native American, and she had taught me a beautiful practice that many natives use when you're grieving, to put your chest on the ground and allow that energy, those emotions to flow through you into the earth. And so I notice this sometimes when I go out with people, I'm like, or on a hike, I'm like, touch the boulders, touch the moss, touch the trees, and they'll get emotional. And a lot of it is because they are transferring or transmuting that energy. The earth is like, give it to me, give me your burdens, give me your pain, give me your suffering, whatever it may be, and allow me to cleanse that for you, allow me to clear that for you. And I've recognized that just within my own self. When I'm having a stressful week or a bad day, I immediately know I need to get out into nature. And I feel so much better. And have you had that experience, Swami?
So I was just gonna say, one of the things that I really love, anybody, yes, please, like anytime you have a feeling of just like, I've been working on my computer for X hours, or like I've been dealing with this really challenging situation at work or in my relationships or in my health or in whatever area of my life. Absolutely. Go outside even 5 minutes and connect consciously with the earth and the sky and the trees. And as you were saying, just let the breeze blow across your face. If it's raining, allow yourself to greet the rain. Rain is
I had to do
wonderful.
that a lot over there in Seattle. I wasn't used to it.
So, and I would also just say for anyone who has a yoga asana practice, yoga asana is a way that we can really consciously allow energy to move through our bodies and we can transmute it, as you said. And then meditation as well is an amazing practice. So at our opening meditation, every time that we meditate at Awake Yoga Meditation, we help people connect with their feet on the earth and then the same poise and steadiness at the base of the spine. And what happens, you were talking about that, but what happens is there is a letting go of any energy that is non-helpful and non-preferred. And I mean, another way to put that is anywhere that you've been feeling stuck, you're giving permission for that energy just to flow out of you. And as it enters the core of the earth or the heart of the earth, it's transmuted, it's transformed. And so it becomes neutralized, it becomes a blessing. So the same way that you would take like leftovers from your kitchen and you could use that to form compost. It's sort of like we're doing the same thing with our
Yes.
energy. Yeah, and then beauty and growth can flourish in ourselves and in everyone that we encounter in our relationships and our feelings.
Yeah, and there's a beautiful Japanese practice called forest bathing as well, where you go out and you just really literally energetically bathe in the energy of the forest. And, the earth puts off a beautiful frequency, which in scientific terms, it's called the Schumann resonance, but that actually vibrates at the same frequency as our brainwave states. And so that's why we feel so amazing as well when we get out there, because we're resetting our own personal energetic system. And boy, does that feel good.
It feels amazing. I talked with someone who he said that he makes a point of sleeping, so it would be sort of like camping, but making a point of being sure to sleep on the earth when you camp, like not with too much padding between you and the earth, because he was talking about how it basically resets his nervous system.
Mhm.
And so he knows like when it's time to go and have some contact physically with the earth like that to reset his nervous system.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so, Swami, we've been talking about how to be the divine within, how to connect with nature, but let's talk a little bit about spiritual freedom and what does that mean? So, what does spiritual freedom mean to you?
So I think one of the most direct ways to connect with it is each of us has a feeling of spaciousness and just a feeling of joy and willingness, and it comes from within. So when we connect with this feeling of spacious joy and willingness within ourselves, and then we do whatever it is we do, we're moving in freedom from moment to moment, every moment of our day. So all of our tasks, like all of our conversations, all of our work, it's just this absolute joy that's working through us. And so that's that. We were talking about that at the outset. We're each invited to go beyond what appear to us to be personality limitations
Mhm.
and just to trust that that spaciousness and that joy and that freedom has a far more expansive awareness of what is possible for us, and to be open to that, and then to allow that expansiveness to create kindness and create caring and create connection and create insight and share creativity and ideas that otherwise would not come to us.
Absolutely. And so, for those people out there who might be saying to us, well, I'm really stressed. I'm in a job I don't like, or I have a lot of responsibilities and I don't feel joyful about that all the time. how do we live life more in alignment with joy and freedom if we aren't in alignment with joy and freedom right now?
So, fabulous question, and just respect and caring. And thank you for the spiritual honesty of that question. And it's important for us to be spiritually honest with ourselves. So, if we're not feeling joy and freedom, and really just to say, I acknowledge, dear self, I'm not currently feeling joy and freedom. And there's no judgment. And so, notice as soon as you do that, then you're sort of bringing awareness into this in a very compassionate and also clear and spiritually honest way. And then you can say, I would love to bring more joy and freedom into my life because joy and freedom feels much better
And it feels
than
a lot
feeling,
lighter. Yes.
yes, than feeling like this stress or this anxiety. So I also just want to acknowledge the responsibilities are there. And it's really important for us to be faithful and to be present and to be diligent. And if we can give ourselves 5 minutes in the morning before we get out of bed, and we just connect with what we love, just the feeling, the pure feeling of what we love, the absolute joy of what we love, and then to invite that current of joy and love to flow through our day. Like we actually, while we are still lying in bed, before we put our feet on the earth, send a current of joy and love throughout every appointment, every conversation, every task. And then throughout the day, connect. So you might have a break and you're washing your hands between meetings or whatever it is that you're doing. You can, as you wash your hands, allow any old energy to go down the drain as you're washing the hands. And then you're breathing in this fresh energy of joy and freedom. And then that freshness and renewal is there and it will flow through you. So even 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or if you have 20 minutes in the morning, that's even more beneficial. As you connect, like if you're able to connect with that current, say that you meditate 20 minutes in the morning, you will more than get back that 20 minutes throughout the day. The quality of your work, the ease, the grace, the delight, the gratitude, the generosity, the friendliness of everyone that you encounter will just be amplified and magnified beyond what you can imagine.
Yes, that's so true. And, I share that with the people I work with. Don't just jump out of bed first thing in the morning. Allow yourself 5 or 10 minutes to visualize. First of all, appreciate how you feel, first thing in the morning. I love my bed. I love my bed. And that's the first thing I wake up and I'm like, oh, I love you, bed. I love how warm I am. I love how quiet it is in the morning. I just sit there and kind of focus on what I'm appreciative of those first 5 minutes. And then I start to move into that visualization of how do I want my day to go? How do I want to feel? And what types of experiences do I want to have? And of course, not every single exact thing is going to play itself out, but I really focus on the feeling of it versus, the visualization is helping me, but I want to feel joy. I want to feel good interactions with people. I want to feel flow. I want to feel like I'm in that flow state throughout the day. I want to feel that things are just falling into my lap. I want to feel in alignment. And so allowing ourselves that 5 or 10 minutes before we even put our feet on the earth, like you said, will allow us to set the tone, set the frequency, set the vibration for the day. And then if you have time, throughout your day to do that meditation, to, align yourself again. Maybe you find yourself going off track a little bit and you're like, whoa, what just happened? You always have a now moment, right? We can always pull ourselves back into the present and say, how did I get out of alignment? How did I pull myself out of the energy that I had visualized for myself in the morning? And that's been very, very helpful for me. And I do notice the more I practice that and the more I practice those thoughts of, I am joyful, I am happy, I am present, I am grateful, I'm appreciative. The more I kind of run those in the background in my subconscious, the more I notice I see more of that throughout my day. Now, I can't say that for many years ago when I wasn't doing that. But I have started to almost train myself a little bit into that frequency. And so, Swami, do you have anything to share about that particular, image of us living in that joy and freedom and how we could make it a lot more abundant in our lives?
Yes, I mean, you were just the perfect spokesperson for what you were talking about. I mean, it was
I'm
perfect.
tuning into your energy. I feel
So
it.
I wanted to just reflect back to you and to say out loud for listeners, the more, so what you said, the more that you start off with love and appreciation. So start off with those sentences. I love and appreciate my bed. I love that you said that because then you'll sleep even more sweetly when you have that gratitude and that awareness. And then the more that you start those sentences, you're like, I love and appreciate that I get to take a 5 minute walk today. I love and appreciate I have this really nice glass of water. I love and appreciate my cup of tea if I want a cup of tea. And it can be the simplest, sweetest things. I love and appreciate my neighbors. I love and appreciate my neighborhood. I love and appreciate whoever it is, whatever it is. And the more that you start those sentences with, I love and I appreciate, the more you're moving in that energy. And then the more what you love and appreciate will flow to you. So it's sort of like if you think of it as each of us has an energy template, and we're always able to construct and to bring energy into our energy template. So as you move in that energy template of love and appreciation, you're actually in this energy, and that's what's going to meet you increasingly. So you're strengthening yourself in that, you're establishing yourself in that, and it'll happen spontaneously. So like you'll go to the grocery store and the interactions you have with complete strangers will make you just overflow with love and appreciation.
The other day I had a woman, she's like, here, I have a $5 off coupon and I'm not going to use it. Here you go. I'm like, I receive it. I'll take that. And so, because I've been working on prosperity and abundance and wealth. And so I'm bringing more of that into my external reality. And so there may have been a time I said, no, I won't take that, give it to someone else. But this time I knew the universe was handing that to me. And so I was graciously accepting it.
That's so perfect. And so there's also this aspect of being open-hearted. So you're demonstrating this. So you're being open-hearted to the light and the joy and the laughter and the generosity and the supportiveness of the universe. And then what will happen is you will be broadcasting light and joy and generosity and supportiveness. And so then, of course, it will come back to you. And you were also just acknowledging sort of like one of the laws of energy when you're moving in that energy of light and love and gratitude and appreciativeness, it won't necessarily be like a one-to-one correlation. Like you might be kind to one person and then it'll be like an hour later, some other person will be kind to you.
Yes.
So it is like it's a constant circulation. So it's really beautiful to be circulating like the energy of abundance is here and it's flowing and I'm part of that flow. And so then you'll also be able to be helpful as that person was helpful to you. It's so perfect.
Yeah, and it aligns divinely when you need it, right? So say for example, you go out to lunch with a friend and you pick up the bill and you're doing it out of the goodness of your own heart. You're not doing it to say, "Oh, I'll pick up the bill next time, so she'll pick up the bill, or I'll pick up the bill this time, she'll pick up the bill next time." You're literally just picking it up because you are grateful you have this time to spend with your friend. You're grateful you have the money in the bank to spend. And what will happen is, maybe that's not going to be the person that will give you something later on, but you go about your day and then boom, someone, does something for you that will have that energy exchange take place. And so I love that you brought that up because I think in our human mind, we think if we give here, we're going to get it back in the same exact way. But the universe doesn't think that way because it's all energy, frequency, and vibration. So it's based off of the intent or the feeling or the frequency that you put out. And then the universe says, "Oh, you want more of that? I'm going to give you more of that." And so you open yourself up to receiving that. And I've noticed that within my personal life is there was a time when I'd say, it's going to come back this way. But I noticed, for example, the other day, I just received a random unexpected check in the mail from a settlement I didn't even sign up for. And I was like, thank you, universe. Like that was amazing. And so it is really neat to see wherever you're working on in your life, whether it's your health, your wealth, your relationships, whatever it may be, that the more you focus that energy in that direction in a loving, joyful, positive, light way, you will receive more of that back, right?
It's so beautiful. And I also just want to say out loud, like what you've been talking about the whole way through, you're talking about unconditional kindness.
Yes.
So conditional kindness is the example you gave where you would say, "Oh, well, I'm buying you lunch," and then there's an unspoken assumption or
Assumption.
expectation
Hmm.
that the person buys you lunch back the next time. So that's conditional kindness. And a lot of human interaction is actually based on conditional kindness. And what you're talking about is unconditional kindness. And you're sort of just like the same way the sun is shining, you can't help it. You're going to be kind. And so then the same way that light is circulating everywhere, that energy of kindness will circulate. It will flow back to you. It has to. It's a
It
law
does.
of
It's the
energy.
law. And once you understand that, you're like, okay, I've been working the law the wrong way. I've got to raise my, my sense of aware or expand my sense of awareness to understand that the more I'm in joy, the more I'm going to see joy. And I've had that experience pretty much my whole life, but I would recognize it when I wasn't in the states of joy, when I was attracting more people around me who were complaining or who were upset or whatnot. And then now I understand, whoa, that's within me. I have to go within. I have to be the divine within and exude, or like you said, what did you say? Ripple out, or what was the term that you used to send your energy out?
Maybe radiate? Was it radiate?
Radiate. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're the sunshine within and you're
Yes.
radiating that light out into the world. Hmm.
I wanted to reflect back to you just so much appreciation for something you said. So you were saying that when you lie there in bed in the morning, you're tuning into the feeling. And that is even more important than having a visual. So our visualizing unintentionally, we might be signaling, oh, it can only come to me in this way. Whereas the universe has 100 ways and more in which it would
Infinite
love to
ways,
share with
probably.
you. Yeah, a million ways and more. So it's really wonderful to tune into the feeling. The feeling is perfect because then you're moving in that current, and then the universe can give you what's a match for that feeling.
Mhm. Yes. And so my friend and I, we went on that trip to Seattle, and I told her, when we listen to songs, let's change the lyrics. And one of them, that song, I'm hooked on a feeling, came on. And so we started singing, I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing, I'm winning the lottery. And we kept joking about that. Well, as we went about, we started buying tickets and we ended up winning $50, which paid for our gas for one of the stops that we had made. So we were living in a state of joy, and we were giggling and laughing because every time a song came on, we were changing the lyrics. And I think I'm going to do a show on this because I had so many different lyrics that were hilarious. And I've been attracting things because really what I think I was doing is I was shifting my limited belief systems and making it fun through song. And I was raising my frequency. I was raising that vibration. And boy, we were having so much fun when we were doing that.
I agree with you. I mean, so when you can make it fun, and so this would be, so let's say that a listener is not feeling joy.
Yeah, let's
It's
talk about that because
Yeah,
you're
like
like, I'm not feeling this, guys.
let's say that you're not feeling joy, and you're sort of feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm moving through this really challenging time of my life, and I would like to steadily shift my energy so that from moment to moment, I am more able to tune into that frequency of joy. So first of all, it takes like that spiritual honesty of just naming and acknowledging, right now, I feel sad, or I feel frustrated, or I'm feeling fear, or I'm feeling anxiety. But then as soon as you feel that, say to the universe or to the divine, whatever way you refer to the divine or the universe, say, I'm willing to transform this feeling.
Yeah,
I am so open to your
I want to
help.
alchemize this feeling. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm willing to shift my energy. I'm willing to transform. And here I am. And then to be open to listening. And also, so one of the things my teacher said, Swami Nityananda said, once you notice that, he made it funny as well, but he said, as soon as you identify the problem that you would love to solve, spend only 20 seconds on that.
Oh, okay.
And then he said, shift to the solution.
Yeah, no, you're
Like
right. Yes, because you're attracting
open
the
to the
problem
solution.
more.
Yeah. And so what you were talking about with music is a fantastic way to do that. So if you can play music that lifts your vibration, and I agree with you very much that if we are listening to things that are out there in the popular cultural stream, it can be really helpful to change the lyrics so that they're very positive, they're very uplifting, they're very noble. They're
100%. I did that because my friend, I usually listen to frequencies and I listen to a lot of very high frequency music. And I knew that this friend, she listens to pop culture music. So I was like, in order for me to get through this trip, I'm going to have to play this game. And we ended up having a really fun time out of it and creating more conversations about consciousness and law of attraction, law of assumption, all these different laws. And so I love that you brought that up because we can shift and listen to the lyrics of the songs that you're listening to, because if you're singing that over and over, it's playing in the back of your mind and you may not even recognize that you're telling yourself, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake, right? But songs can do that. They get stuck in your head for a reason. Mm-hmm.
So I was also going to talk about something you mentioned. So you were saying that in your morning practice, like when you're lying in bed and you're saying, I am joy, I am, what were some of the other I am statements that you were using? They were beautiful.
Okay, I am joy. I am in alignment. I am at peace. I am comfortable. I am happy. I just literally let them just kind of go on autopilot, like boom, 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 and however they feel in the morning. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So I just wanted to say one of the teachings my teacher shared was that whatever we place after I am, we help activate that.
Yes.
We help energize that. And so what that means is as you're doing that, you're helping energize, you're helping fill your own body, your heart, your mind, your awareness, your life with what you're saying after I am. And so that's another just beautiful awareness for people to have.
Yeah, it's very, I even did a show on this. I am that I am. It's a statement that's in many teachings. And whatever you say you are, you are. So if you're saying, I am in pain, I am suffering, I am this, check yourself. How can you switch that? I am pain free. I am flexible. I am moving with ease, whatever it may be. Shift that thought, but you've got to catch yourself in the thought first. And believe me, this has taken me some time to kind of reprogram, so to speak, to get myself to a point where now I am what I am. I am that I am. And making it very consciously aware within myself. What am I following after the I am statement? Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. And I also really love what you said. I mean, it's also very spiritually honest to note that, okay, so say that a listener is listening and they're thinking to themselves, well, I'm not feeling joy right now. And I'm feeling actually a little bit stuck. I'm feeling a little bit like I'm in a rut. Like you just said to yourself, it's taken some time to establish these new pathways. And so for the person who is deciding, I'm ready, like I'm willing, I'm ready to change my pathways, also be very steady, be very gentle, be very kind, be very patient with yourself. Yes. Because just as it took a little while to establish that feeling of being stuck, it can take a little while. You're actually creating new pathways in the brain. And scientists now can image the brain and they can notice the way pain pathways can heal and they can be transformed into peace pathways. So this is something that yogis have been talking about for millennia, but now functional magnetic resonance imaging allows scientists to actually see what's happening with the brain in response to our thinking and in response to our practices, the practices that we're talking about.
Yes, and it's so powerful. And I've learned too, our subconscious doesn't know the word not or no or whatnot. So if you're saying I am not in pain, don't say it that way. You want to say it more, I am free of pain, or I am flexible. However you want to state it, just state it with more of the positive than the not. Don't add the not, because what happens is I am not in pain. Your subconscious picks up I am in pain. So when you put that not in there, and I've just learned that recently, because I think some of my I am statements, I had the no or the not in there, and I didn't really realize that it's based off of the frequency too, and how you're projecting that out or you're radiating that, like you had said. And so we're all learning through this process, right? And it's taken me some time to get there, but now I notice my brain is just knocking those affirmations out, even when I'm not even thinking about it. And I too, I'll listen to those when I drive. I'll just plug in, my phone or, and listen to the YouTubes and just let those while I'm driving, because when you're driving, you're actually in a good state of autopilot because you know where you're going. You're really kind of thinking about other things. And if you have these affirmations playing in the background, then it's really assisting with that subconscious mind as well.
That's beautiful. And I was going to say, you were giving the example of a person who's experiencing pain in their body. One of the yogic teachings helps us with that because it just reminds us, like, I am larger than this body. And so for each of us, I am larger than this body. And then we're able to connect with that which is beyond the body. And that wholeness is actually always with us, independent of how the human body is feeling at any moment. And so then that energy of wholeness is able to flow into the human body. And that can actually shift and bring incredible healing and transformation.
Yeah, that is such a powerful, thank you for reminding us of that, because I think many of us, it's like we have this deeper knowing. We know this, but sometimes we have to be reminded of that. And so, Swami, you've talked about some yogic practices, and you actually teach a yoga practice called Kriya. Now, I've been practicing yoga for a long time and I do different types of styles, but I've never heard of Kriya. Can you talk a little bit more about what that practice is?
Yes, I'm happy to. So my teacher, Swami Shankarananda, taught Kriya Yoga to me and asked me to carry on teaching Kriya Yoga. And it's a meditation technique. And so it's a meditation technique that's very potent and also very accessible, and it can be integrated easily into daily life. So it's like 20 minutes of meditation in the morning, 20 minutes at night, and you learn it directly in one-to-one instruction. And so the teacher can help kind of like fine tune and integrate the practice for you. So it teaches you to work with the breath and with the energy architecture that comes built into each of us. And so it just helps you connect with self-awareness, self-healing, self-transformation in really direct and amazing ways.
Wow, I'm glad that I'm learning about this, because this might be something that I'm being directed to learn more about. Because I guess when I think of yoga, I think more of movement and, you know, in correlation with the mind and the body and the spirit, but I didn't really know about this. This is really fascinating to me.
So for you and for, I think, last time I looked at numbers, it might be that 20 or 30 million Americans practice yoga asana, and yoga asana are amazing. I also have a personal yoga asana practice. At the meditation community, Awake Yoga Meditation, we practice yogic meditation and we share the teachings of yoga philosophy. And the traditional teachings of yoga philosophy present yoga asana as helping us prepare for the deeper practices of meditation. So like anyone who has a yoga asana practice, that would be calming and quieting the body and the mind, which then in turn helps us to be ready for a deeper encounter with our own inner energy architecture and our own self-transformation and self-healing. And so Kriya Yoga is one of those practices. It comes from India. And so in about the mid 1800s, a teacher named Lahiri was traveling in the mountains in the Himalayas, and he learned the practice from his teacher. And he said to his teacher, "Can I stay here with you in the mountains?" And his teacher said, "No, you get to go back to the family and the work and the marketplace." So Lahiri was married and he had 5 kids, and he worked a government job for 26 years while he was teaching this practice.
Wow.
And he taught it to all qualified students, so to men, to women, to people of all castes, to Christians, to Muslims, to people from Hindu backgrounds. And so it's accessible, it's beautiful, it can be easily integrated into daily life. And then his student was Swami Sri Yukteswar, who taught a student called Swami Yogananda Paramahansa. Yogananda came to this country in 1920 and started sharing these teachings.
Yes.
And then in DC in 1928, there was a group of Yogananda students who said, "Please, can you help us start a community here?" So he asked one of his students from India to come over. That student he consecrated as Swami Premananda. and Swami Premananda consecrated Swami Shankarananda, who was my teacher. So my teacher
Wow.
established our community. We are awake yoga meditation in 1976. And my teacher taught from 1976 until 2014. And then he appointed me his successor. So I've been teaching since 2014.
That is amazing. That is fascinating. And so, what are some of the benefits that you see from yourself and others from practicing Kriya?
So, I mean, I cannot even put it into words for myself. It's like the breath of light. It's like breathing sunshine. It's
Oh,
like
this sounds
just,
amazing.
yeah, no, I mean, it's just the yogis talk about the breath of the eternal. So my experience is that when you receive, so my teacher was what is called fully illumined. He was fully self-realized. There was absolute realization here. So he lived from moment to moment in that direct contact with reality, with light, with truth, with love. And by grace, that is here, that is fully established here. And so what people say, like anyone who likes walks into our meditations on Sunday, Friday, and Tuesday, in person or online. We're always on Zoom and YouTube if anyone wants to join us online. And there are people who just say, I'm blown away by the light and by the joy. And there are people who cry, like they weep because they feel the energy of pure love. Practically speaking, for people who practice Kriya, people report, I feel so much calmer. I feel like my energy is so much more focused. I feel so much more creative. I feel so much more patient with my kids and my spouse and everyone I interact with. It allows people, so also it helps you deal, like if you have had a background where you have experienced any pain in your background. So that's everything from like if you grew up and you experienced bullying, or if there was any kind of pain in the family, like unhealthy or unhelpful patterns in the family, those along the way get healed. So it's like a natural process. Like as you bring the light in, the light helps you from within see, oh, that can heal. And so that's why I described it as it's a really potent self-healing and self-awareness and self-transformation practice. So you're always becoming more you. And it helps you, like with whatever it is that you're doing, it helps you be more of your true you. So it just brings more of that light.
Wow, it's like it's shining light on those areas that need light shined on.
And it's also bliss. I mean, so I want to also
Sounds
just say that,
amazing.
so yeah, so I mean, if you can just imagine that, like breathing the energy of the sun up and down the spine.
Oh, I'm
And
going to be doing
so,
that this afternoon. I promise
yes,
you.
yeah,
I'm
it's
going to
perfect.
practice that.
Yeah. So it also, you receive, so when you receive Kriya from a being of light, what happens is you're receiving not just a technique, but you're receiving that energy. There's a big boost of spiritual energy that is shared, which is an amazing gift.
Oh, wow. Swami, I had a guest on the show several weeks ago, and he did this beautiful invocation on the show. And I had to cut it, like after we got done, I had to cut it short because I told him I felt so blissed out. I had not experienced that in a long time. And I couldn't even finish the show. I was giggling and I didn't feel like I was in my body. I felt very uplifted,
Yep.
very full of light. And so when you feel that way, oh my goodness, you want to savor it. It's so delicious when you feel that sense of bliss and joy. And not many of us have felt that before. I know for me, I could probably put on my one hand that I felt that sense of pure bliss and connectedness to the divine. And this is amazing that there's a practice out there that can assist with getting to that point.
And the other thing that I would say, I love, love, love your description. And the other thing that I would say is it also, like the techniques, the way that they are shared here, they help you ground your energy as well and integrate your energy. So this is back to where we started off. So you won't feel like spaced out or disconnected from your
Because
human
I
life.
probably needed to ground myself before I
Right.
did that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you'll notice is it actually helps you be more present. Like it helps you be a better, like if you are a person who shares healing energy, or you're like a high-powered corporate person, wherever you are, whatever your work is, it just helps you be more of what you are doing. It helps you be more calm, more kind, more peaceful, more present, more of your true self.
Oh, amazing. That's amazing. And so, Swami, you tell us a little bit about more about all the services you provide at the Awake Yoga Meditation community.
Yeah, with pleasure. So, Awake Yoga Meditation is the name of our community, and our website is awakeyogameditation.org. And as I mentioned, we were founded by Swami Shankarananda, amazing being of light. So, we have in-person meditations if you're in Baltimore or DC or Philly or anywhere in that area. On Sundays, we meditate in person. Come be in person. It's so much fun to
I
meditate.
bet.
And then anyone who wants, we also have entry points. So you can join us on Zoom or you can join us on YouTube as well. And then we also on Tuesdays and Fridays have meditations on Zoom and on YouTube as well. And so there's just an incredible gift that comes from meditating together. So when you meditate with other people, that energy of frequency and of peace and joy is just magnified and amplified. It becomes very easy to connect with that within yourself. And then you're sort of like filled up with that light and that peace and that joy. And then that flows into the rest of your day, the rest of your week. So that's one really easy entry point. We do have information about Kriya Yoga on our website if you're interested, so check that out. There's a book recently published called Awake, the Yoga of Pure Awareness, which you'll find on our website. We have e-courses, so anyone who wants many, many different topics. You can sort of have content delivered to you, and it's really fun. It's kind of like a way to integrate the practices into your daily life in a wonderful, accessible way that's very present and available for everyone in their daily life. And then we also we have a presence on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
Podcast too, right?
Podcast as well. Yeah. So I'm happy to share links with you, and then maybe you can share those with your listeners as well.
Yes, definitely. And, I've experienced that feeling of blissfulness when I have meditated in a group. And I've even experienced it when I lived in Florida, people partaking in what's known as the Maharishi effect. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's when Maharishi was I think he may have been a yogi actually, but he was teaching people to meditate in groups in certain areas with high crime rates. And what they began to recognize is that the crime started to go down significantly when these groups were meditating together. And I witnessed this when I lived in Florida during some very strong hurricanes. People would gather on the beaches in Miami and they would start praying and meditating. And then the hurricane would move to the other side, and then everybody would move to the other side of Florida. And then there was one year I watched that hurricane go back and forth because I was in Orlando and I was trying to figure out where should I go. And I knew at that time that what was happening is that the Maharishi effect was what was actually taking place, because so many people had such a guided, focused intent on one area that it was actually shifting the weather. It was fascinating to see.
Also, I just want to say thank you for sharing that story. And anytime any of us choose peace from within ourselves, we have very potent effects, and it ripples out. It ripples out. It goes out beyond us. It radiates out to hundreds of people, some of whom we know and interact with, and some of whom we never know and interact with. So thank you, because exactly what you said. When we meditate together, we are shifting the energy, and it has benefits not just for ourselves. It's never for ourselves alone that we meditate. It absolutely radiates beyond ourselves.
It does. And you don't even have to be in the physical presence of the group. I could be in Idaho, you could be in Maryland, and we could have a whole bunch of people in other states, but we all are like, okay, at this time, we're all going to focus on this. And because it's all energy, I call it, it's like a Wi-Fi connection. Right? We're all tuning in, or a Bluetooth. We're all tuning in at the same time, and we are all connected. We are all one. And so, Swami, this was such a beautiful show. I thank you so much for coming on and bringing this beautiful energy of joy and peace and love. And I feel so good. And I know the listeners and the watchers out there, feel the same way. This was amazing. So is there a website where people can connect that they can reach out to you if they feel guided to do so?
Absolutely. Yes, please. And Tanya, also just so much joy and gratitude and respect, because the light is beaming. I really appreciate the way you beam light.
And
Thank
a
you.
positive thing, our Zoom isn't glitching. Sometimes when we get into these higher frequencies, the Zoom starts glitching, but this has been so perfect.
It's such a great joy. Yes, so please visit us at awakeyogameditation.org. And anyone who has any questions, you're welcome to email me at swami@awakeyogameditation.org.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Swami. I appreciate you and your energy, and even the energy of your predecessors that you've learned from, because I could feel them coming in today too.
They are so much present. Thank you for noticing and tuning into that. Gratitude and joy to you.
You deserve to navigate your life in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.theexistentialempath.com.